Hi, everybody. Welcome to Music is Medicine Monday. My name is Amy. This is my lovely pug Molly. And we are here, at least I'm here every week, talking about voice, communication, expression, and sharing some music with you. This week, I put out to my community, what people would like me to talk about. And somebody wrote, for Halloween, would I talk about, talking to the deceased or talking to those that have left. And it was an interesting request. It's something that I actually have done, but not just with those that have left forever, but for those that have maybe left and have left in a way that didn't feel like there was resolution or closure. And so I wanted to write this week and talk this week about what it is to be haunted. And to be haunted, not necessarily by ghosts in our attic or, monsters in the basement, but the people in our lives that kind of haunt us, the experiences that haunt us, and how we can meet these ghosts, these apparitions, and actually find resolution and a greater sense of peace and a greater sense of light and levity. When we lose somebody, if we lose somebody for good, if they pass away, it brings up a lot. There's a lot of grief and there's a lot of letting go. And I know in my own experience, there's these layers of emotions. It's not just grief. Half the time, I know when I was grieving, someone in my family that I lost, for a long time, it was like, I felt like I should be sad. I felt guilty when I wasn't sad. I'd get anxious, I'd get nervous. There were all these other layers of emotions that were on top of it. And that's really what I mean by being haunted, is that we're going through this process of creating congruence or creating integration. And we can do so in a way that's quite helpful and useful, but we can also do so in a way that is distracting. Personally, I found some of the most difficult kind of hauntings are those that are those situations where there is a lack of resolution. So for example, somebody we fall madly in love with who doesn't love us back, and it ends in a weird or convoluted way. A family member that we care about that has become really withdrawn and there's no way of connecting. There's so many situations where perhaps we were raw, we were vulnerable, we were open, and we were dismissed. And then this apparition, this idea of what could have been, how it should have been, what it should look like, that becomes this ghost that haunts us, coloring, how we connect into the world, our sense of guilt, an over sense of responsibility, or a complete sense of denial. And so in the blog, I walk through kind of a process of how do we come to terms with these ghosts, with these apparitions that we've created, where our fears, our insecurities, all of that is superimposed on what's really happening. And in the blog, I kind of walk it through. I think there's about 3 or 4 key steps. And the first is to just trust in a sense of time. It takes time to heal. And when there's an agenda that it needs to be fixed or happen right away, that can actually deter us. So first, just taking a breath and giving ourselves the space to go through the process, to meet our ghosts. And then I describe a way that we can start to talk to our ghosts, which is a letter template, writing letters. And I might be writing a letter to that person, that we so wish we could have said what we could have said to. But writing it in a way, not that we're trying at all to manage how they would respond. And that's a tricky one. So often, when we are haunted, when we are caught up in kind of an anxious rumination, it's because we're so wanting to manage an external. When we write a letter for ourselves, it's about our truth, our emotions, our wants, our desires, and then the allowance to actually be with that and to see it, and to give it space. To this day, every now and then, I write letters to my sister who passed, just to tell her what's going on, to share with her, because There's no need to put on a front. I can just say what I need to say. And in journaling, these letters have been an incredible way to speak to people I can't actually speak to. You know, maybe a breakup that was very difficult, and getting out the things that I want to say and coming to terms with them. And then giving space to come to terms with, you know, going for a walk, giving some time for those emotions. And also, and I think this is a really important one, to continue to integrate in life, to continue to reach out and to, you know, help others and connect with others and laugh, so that this thing that might haunt us, though it exists, we create this giant space that is our life, and it's just a small part of it. And then with this, as you come to terms, or as we come to terms with things, I don't say this like it's not going to hurt anymore. You know, if you've lost somebody that you love, you know, grief is something that can live with us for life. But it's in our ability to be with it in kind of a gentle and caring and wide way that allows us to continue to create intimacy and connection. Because in allowing grief, we also allow love, we allow joy, because we're not afraid of losing it. On the other side, when we become so haunted that I no longer want to reach out for love, or I push away anything good because I'm so afraid of losing it, then I might find that that apparition has become my reality. Anyway, these are just thoughts, and pretty deep and heavy ones probably for a Monday, but I guess the main message is just to know that, or I hope to offer that, it's normal to go through a process of reconciliation, and it's okay to have feelings that linger, and that just like when a kid's afraid of a monster in the dark, we can learn to turn on the light and really see our humanity and connect to that in a really kind way. For music for this week, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to start with a Cyndi Lauper song, Time After Time, because I think it beautifully articulates that kind of sweet reminiscing that can happen when we're no longer haunted, but when memories come back and we can feel a sense of love, gratitude, even kindness. Lying in my bed, I hear the clock tick, think of you spinning in circles, confusion. It's nothing new. Flashback to warm nights, almost left behind. Suitcase of memories, time after. Sometimes I picture you walking too far ahead. You're calling to me, I can't hear what you say. You say go slow, I've fallen behind. The drum beats out of time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. Time after After your picture fades and darkness has turned to rain, watching through windows, I'm wondering if you're okay. And you say go slow, I've fallen behind. The drum beats out of time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. Time after time. Time after time. There's something in meeting our ghosts, in coming to terms with those that we lose, is that, and this is, I think this actually comes from a story from the Dalai Lama. You know, there's certain emotions, things like regret or grief, that we may never lose, and it's not about losing them, but it's becoming wide enough to hold them and allow them to deepen our character, deepen our sense of human understanding and empathy, and really to hold a greater space, holding a greater space. The next song I'm going to play for you, and we'll see how it goes, is a song I wrote called Say Goodbye. And it was one of those breakups that shook me to my core. You know, shook me to my core, because I held this person in such illusion, in such kind of, on a pedestal, really. And you know, looking at it now, I'm grateful for all of it, because it was one of those times that I learned so much, and this person brought so much into my life. But when it was gone, it felt like I couldn't do it without them. And yet, in coming to see that I could, I would, and ultimately I wanted to, there is a greater width and strength and capacity that is born from that. And so I want to share this with you to, you know, just give you insight into what that was for me at that time. It's called Say Goodnight. I looked at him from across the stage. I knew it was the last song we'd ever play. I'll bend to your fingers like guitar strings. Play my soul in this last offering. And say goodnight. Oh, sweet love of mine, take my body tonight. Say goodbye in the morning light. Goodbye, sweet love of mine. Well, I charted a course through the mountains and trees, drove through explosions of red-colored memories. I learned to pray in the dead of night, lying awake with the devil biting each broken dream, tearing at my seams. You told me you fell for the girl that I could have been. So sweet love of mine, take my body tonight and say goodbye in the morning light. Goodbye, sweet love of mine. Well, how long does it take to let go, to know what we've learned and to leave what we'll never know? I'm not wrong, I know that I tried. Part of me wakes up well, part of me dies. So sweet love of mine, this will be the last time, and say goodbye in the morning light. Goodbye, and say goodbye. Say goodnight. Say goodnight, goodnight, goodbye, sweet love of mine. Thank you. Thank you for listening. It's been an interesting day going back through memory lane and remembering these and personally reflecting and seeing how far I've come. And hopefully to share with you that if you are haunted by something, that there is a power in coming to see it, in bringing the light. And that ultimately, and though it might seem kind of far removed, in doing so we find a greater voice, a greater capacity to speak our truth, to know our truth, and to connect with integrity and care. So thank you so much, always. If you want the blog, please click on the link below. I'll probably still be tidying it up a little tonight, so tomorrow might be a better day. And if you're maybe wanting to do this, to come to terms and to find your voice in those places that maybe have been more rumination and less acceptance, and you want to talk about working together, I would be so happy to do so. And you are welcome to book a free session. And otherwise, if maybe you can't afford it or that's not your thing right now, there's so much free content on my website that you can check out. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great Halloween. And I hope that your hearts are well tended too. Thank you.